Hi, I'm Christopher Thornock, and I'm Professor of Drawing and Illustration at Utah Valley University. I want to take some time to talk to you about sketchbooks because they are really important for your artistic development. If you are interested in any field of art and design, one of the most important things that you can do to improve is to regularly draw. Let me share with you answers to 4 common questions I get about sketchbooks. The first question is, what kind of sketchbook should I get? A sketchbook can take various forms, and it's helpful to find out which one works best for your creative goals. You can buy a nice bound sketchbook with blank pages that are hardbound like this one, or soft bound, or even wire bound. All come in a variety of sizes and papers. You can spend a little. I think I got this paperback one for about $4 at a local bookstore clearance rack. It has paper that's okay, only really suitable for graphite. Or you can spend a lot. This one came from a paper store in Florence, Italy, and is covered with beautiful calfskin. You can also bind your own sketchbook, or just clip some drawing paper to a board like this. And when you have filled enough pages, just take them to your local copy store and have them bind it all together. That way you don't lose any of your drawings later. It's fun to try different sketchbooks to see what works and what doesn't for the type of drawings that you do. Size can also be important. Small sketchbooks are great for a jacket pocket and are easy to take with you. Larger sketchbooks give you a little bit more room to draw. One thing to be aware of is the paper. If you want to paint in your sketchbook or work with ink, you'll need a paper that can take getting wet. If you want to use markers, make sure that they don't bleed through the paper, unless that's what you want. Personally, my favorite sketchbook is a bound landscape format. Has a medium weight paper with just enough texture to work well with graphite pencils and yet thick enough to not let ink or paint bleed through to the other side. Another common question I get is, what should I draw with in my sketchbook? There is no right drawing tool or instrument for drawing in a sketchbook, but here are a few things that I like to use. But keep in mind, this is only a small list. Graphite pencils and sticks, colored pencils, pen and ink, things like fountain pens or gel pens, ballpoint pens, dip pens, brush pens, and so on. Markers work great, and I love to paint in a sketchbook. My preference is gouache, which is an opaque watercolor, and it dries quite quickly. I also like regular watercolors and acrylic paint and paint markers. I've even used spray paint in my sketchbook, and if you prep the paper correctly, you can also oil paint in your sketchbook. You can collage using found images and a glue stick. You can use a craft knife to cut holes and other shapes out of the pages in your sketchbook. You can glue in random things that you collect or find. You can also mix any of these media I just mentioned to get new and interesting drawings and paintings. How much should you be sketching? I usually answer this by asking, how bad do you want to be an artist? You should draw in your sketchbook regularly, like every day. Your sketchbook should go with you everywhere. If you really like to draw, then having your sketchbook handy at all times is very helpful. Many artists will fill multiple sketchbooks every year. You know, if you are a musician, you would be playing your instrument every day. Well, the sketchbook, that is your instrument. So, you have a sketchbook and materials and you're all ready to go. Now what? As a university professor, students often ask me, how good should the sketches in their sketchbook be, or what should the pages be filled with? My answer is that I usually look for honesty, exploration, and dedication to the craft of drawing. The fact is that the biggest hurdle you will face is, what do you draw in your sketchbook? Some of you probably already have lots of ideas and the blank paper is just calling out to you to be filled. But some of you might be intimidated by the clean white sheet of paper, afraid that you're going to ruin that sketchbook with the first mark you make. Here are a few things to keep in mind when sketching. Number 1, your sketchbook is for you to explore, not necessarily to show off. So if you make a bad drawing, no big deal. Just turn the page and start again. In fact, if you don't have bad drawings in your sketchbook, you are probably not doing it right. Number 2, draw from life. Think of your sketchbook as a visual diary. Draw what you eat, who you know, where you go, what you love, what you hate, where you live, what you look like, your pets, your vacation, the inside of the bus, the train, the plane, or car. Draw outdoors and draw indoors. Number 3, draw from your imagination. Number 4, you can design and draw patterns. Number 5, have a go-to drawing when you get stuck. Personally, I like to draw a skull when the creative block hits, and it usually jumpstarts my creativity. 6, try new media. If you always use a ballpoint pen to draw with, use markers, or paint, or some other tool. 7, good drawings don't necessarily have to take a long time, and none of your drawings really have to be finished. 8, copying other artists can help you try out new ideas and techniques. 9, try practicing something that you need to improve, like facial features or other figure drawing challenges. 10, sometimes including a written element in your sketchbook can help you later identify what the goals were in the drawing that you were making, or maybe your drawings can be illustrations to a daily journal entry. You could also practice hand lettering. 11, use drawing prompt lists, like the ones from Inktober or Drawloween or Mermay. You can also play drawing games in your sketchbook. Have you ever heard of the drawing game invented by the Surrealists that they called the Exquisite Corpse? Look it up. Draw with other people. Forming a sketch club is a great motivator. And lastly, check out what other people have done in their sketchbooks and use their ideas for inspiration. The internet and social media are full of great examples of sketchbooks, but be careful. Don't spend all of your time looking. You want to fill your sketchbook and not just admire someone else's work. Drawing is such a great activity. I hope that this short video has inspired you to start or return to your sketchbook. Have a go with some of the things that I mentioned in this video and make sure to set aside a little time every day to draw. Thanks for watching.